Hey guys, Taro here bringing you a 1v1 today. We are on Langreskaya playing Fute spawning in the north. We have Patient playing as OKW and his loadout is Fortifications, Special Operations and Luftwaffe Ground Forces. No Scavenge. So already I'm not liking his chances. But the rest of them probably the best non-scavenge doctrine and unusual build. He's straight away going to double Kugels. Okay. In the south we have Unknown Legend playing his US forces and his loadout is heavy cavalry, tactical support and mechanized, so no armor. Mechanized is pretty good against OKW though, especially if he invests this much into Kugels, so we'll have to see if that's what Unknown Legend actually does. There we go, gets the early retreat. Interesting capping order, goes straight for the cutoff, but doesn't actually get the connecting point. So, got no real resource income right now. And he's, what's he doing with this rifle squad? It looks like it was going on a bit of a, maybe an aggressive play towards the opponent's fuel, but now going to cost himself a lot of territory, and meanwhile that second Kubel on the back lines doing a lot of capping here. Here comes the Jeep though. Going to put one of his rifle squads in it and probably go hunting for that Kubel. As OKW, you have a choice to go for the Raketen or to maybe just blob up, try to take this down with small arms fire, go for maybe a fast battle group so you get that access to the Faust a lot earlier. These are the two options. Well, the dodge does what it had to do, force away that Kubel, and he is going for the Raketen. Probably a good idea. In his case, because I mean, yeah, he's got two Kubels. He needs to take down that dodge as fast as possible. And won't have as many Fausts, of course, because he's only got one squad of Fox Grenadiers at the moment. But still, I think Patient got off to a slightly stronger start. He's had slightly better resource income so far. We see Unknown Legion going for another rifle squad, which does suggest he'll be going for Captain. And that kind of makes sense going for Captain, because when you go for the dodge, you don't really need the M20. I suppose a half track might be alright for the suppression. But yeah, Mechanized does have that, you know, kind of strong early light vehicle, which means Lieutenant Tech is not as important. Well, dodges down to half health. I know Liz is taking a lot of damage from these double Kubels onto his rifleman here, and McKesson's now creeping into position. Sets up and misses. Of course it misses. Well, there you go. Popped it off camo now to try to chase it full speed. Unknown Legion sticking around. Risky stuff. Probably spotted by the garrison though, thanks to the extra line of sight the garrison provides. Looks like he's going to do some capping and repairing. Hasn't connected his munitions point at any stage, but late on the reinforcements as well. We have a tech truck coming out now for Patient. I forgot to mention these guys' ranks. Both of them are, I think, about rank 2, 250. But they do have some other factions in the top 100. These are just not their strongest factions. And things starting to look a little bit grim here for Patient, getting pushed back quite hard. Double Kubels. Very risky strategy. And if you see your opponent has mechanized in their loadout, do not go for this strategy. Do not go for double Kubels. You're just asking. This is like exactly what mechanized is putting your loadout to counter. Oh, that squad's finally reinforced, coming back onto the battlefield. Dodge doing some capping, not even requiring repairs. So Patient's going to hold on to his cutoff. It's a bit of a battle. So got a lot of low health squads, and he's gone for the mechanized truck. So no relief anytime soon for that. And Stern Pioneer's nowhere near Vet 1, so those med kits still ages away. Though I do understand going for the mechanized truck in this situation is OKW, because maybe you can get out a light vehicle to try and kill that dodge, then counter the inevitable Stuart. Whoa, we saw him go for 4 riflemen as well as the dodge. That is a bit of a surprise. It's a lot of tier 1 units. Yeah, he's got them all on very low health as well. Probably also needs an ambulance. I am surprised he went for another rifle squad. Because usually that that manpower is invested into the dodge. And maybe he's going to withdraw and refit this shortly. It's kind of coming up to the end of its window of actually being useful. And actually hasn't managed to take down either of the Kubels as of yet. And looks like there it goes. Goes down to Stern Pioneers with Shreks. Nice work there by Patient. And he's actually gone for a very aggressive fighting position here. Which I probably wouldn't recommend in most cases. If the fighting position... I mean, your opponent's already got a Raketin on the field. So that can quite easily be shot by the Raketin. The opponent didn't already have anti-tank gun on the field. Perhaps it makes a little bit more sense. Oh, but he's... oh my god, he's not even in the arc, but he's somehow getting suppressed there. And because he's suppressed, it's obviously affecting his reload and his accuracy. When he's suppressed, he has a lot of trouble hitting. But one more shot and that fighting position's going to go down. And it really hasn't achieved too much. Bit of a waste of munitions and manpower there. Oh, but could he take this down? Here come all the riflemen from the flank, and he's going to retreat before the fighting position went down. Kind of unlucky, man. Just he's right on the edge of that machine gun's firing arc there. Looks like he should have been out of it, but somehow found that extra couple millimeters to fire at him. And we actually saw a very early anti-tank gun from Unknown Legend, which I suppose is going to keep this Panzer II at bay, but if he didn't do that, he would have had his Stuart out by about now. So that would have countered the Lukes anyway. It looks like maybe that's his strategy. Got his fighting position, he's got his anti-tank gun, he's got to try hold this line, and he actually popped these Sabot rounds there. No real point in popping them against the Lukes, because I believe all they do is increase your penetration by 30, and obviously the M1's going to have no trouble penetrating the Lukes in the first place, so not really necessary, and they don't increase the damage. Unlike the Jackson's arm-piercing rounds, which do. So yeah, you don't get that bonus damage, so there's no real point popping them against light vehicles. Just a waste of munitions. Incendiary grenade goes off there, and riflemen have to evacuate and actually retreat. Now we've got the Raketin into the garrison, should be able to take it down. Except he keeps missing, man! Raketins. Oh my god, that's 3 misses in a row. Some action over here. Looks forcing the captain to retreat. There you go, looks like one shot connects now. Kubel's coming in on the flank. M1 hasn't turned around. Still missing, man. These Raketins not having any luck today. Patient. A lot of trouble. Here's the Stuart now, but there is a Stern Pioneer squad with the Panzer Shrek here. I don't think he's even used the stun round. And there goes the Lux. But could he steal the M1? That would be a good pickup. Oh, did he lose that? Raketen in the garrison? Looks like it. M1 gets decrewed. Fighting position about to go down, but I don't think he can do much damage to this with small arms. I'm not sure what his arm is like. Looks like the machine gun was doing a little bit of damage. No, he's not going to stick around. He probably could have fired a Panzerfaust at it and would have killed it. So the M1's probably going to go back towards Unknown Legend, which is a shame because Patient really needed it after losing that Raketen. And he's going for a Puma, so he's doubling down on the light vehicles. I feel like in some cases, you know, as OKW, it's just better to go straight for the Puma because even though it's not very good against infantry, Stuart's just so powerful, man. The Stuart is so overpowered. Vet 0 gets 2 abilities, gets Shell Shock and Point Blank Engine Shot, which is just ridiculous. I feel like they should move the Shell Shock to Vet 1 at the very least, so at least then the Stuart doesn't come out and immediately wreck every light vehicle. Especially in conjunction with the Captain's Bazooka.
One of our fighting positions is sustaining fire. Cut him down.
They're popping out for a Panzerfaust, but obviously coming out of the building. Very clump, take a lot of damage. But he actually hasn't recruited the M1, will he? Yeah, here comes the stun, but he misses the first shot and the second shot. Both connecting with the M1. Pops smoke. Takes the anti-tank grenade. Here comes the bazooka. One more shot. And the Puma will take it out. And there he goes. He gets it. Nicely done. What happened to the... Oh, he accidentally retreated the captain there. What the hell? So now no bazooka to take down the Puma, but it looks like it's going to go down to the anti-tank gun. There it goes.
Enemies are swarming one of our emplacements.
So, yeah, okay, trade I suppose. Puma for Stuart, but Patient, you know, I feel like his army's a bit weaker at the moment. He's pretty similar supply, but obviously he's got these double Kubels which don't really scale that well into the late game compared to actually having infantry squads on the field. And I'm really surprised he's managed to keep this fighting position here, but I mean it's all because that Raketen in the garrison missed like 7 shots or something ridiculous. Oh my god.
A capture point is under attack.
You can still see that crater there that the Raketens keep hitting like right in front of it. What's the elevation like there? Yeah, see there's that little, it's just that little mound of dirt there. Raketens do seem to struggle the most with elevation changes of any anti-tank gun. We're seeing the famous US Forces mortar next. And there's really no reason not to get one. Could this be the end of the first Kubel though? This needs to actually stop and shoot with that bazooka. There it goes. Oh, and it gets abandoned. Not really worth picking it up with US Forces because obviously you have to commit a whole squad to crewing it. And yeah, at this stage of the game it's not that useful anyway. So you'd have to lose a whole rear echelon squad just to get a Kubel. Probably not worthwhile at this stage of the game. Managed to decrew the anti-tank gun, but it's going for another Lux. Okay. And that's going to be able to take down this fighting position. M1's been recruited, but quite a ways away. And I mean, this is a situation where OKW, you know, would usually be scavenged and failed themselves a flak panzer, which would obviously scale a lot better than the Lux. Because even though they're kind of similar against infantry, in terms of firepower, the flak panzer has a lot more health. Quite a bit harder to kill and similar speed. Flak Panzer's pretty fast medium tank. One of the faster ones. What kind of skin is this? This must be one of those new skins on the Humble Bundle. And one misses onto the Lukes. Take a look at the VP's Unknown Legend actually behind at this stage, because Patient has actually been doing a really good job harassing this side of the map. Kind of committed so much to trying to hold this position here. He's neglected this, and that was good from Patient realizing this was a bit of a tough nut to crack, especially when he didn't have a vehicle. So he kind of went to where his opponent was weaker. Still no weapon upgrades for Unknown Legend. And his fuel control hasn't been so good. Usually once you hit around this stage, you'd be much closer to a Sherman. His Patient has been able to field himself 2 Lukes, a Puma, and now a walking Stuka. Usually you don't get this opportunity with so many vehicles as OKW. So his fuel control has clearly been a lot better. But there is that famous USF mortar. I'm looking forward to that patch. Ambulance is a little bit far away from his major, so I'm not sure if units that retreat to that forward retreat point are actually going to be healed. Doesn't look like it. Though sometimes it is a good idea. Yeah, there he goes. He's moving it now. Sometimes it is a good idea to put a forward retreat point in your base, because sometimes troops retreat to slightly different spots and out of the range. Oh, he's going for the mortar. Decruise it. But he cancelled the barrage only after 1 rocket, but it was a good rocket. It did the job. Got exactly what he wanted. Still no healing for Patient. And this kind of has been exploited, because as I was saying, he hasn't gone for the weapon upgrades. So Rifleman actually not doing that much damage compared to the Volkswagen. There's a few of them which do have the STG upgrades. Or one of them. So usually if you had like a bar on each squad. Oh, he's dropping the 155mm on the base. Oh, and he gets the Stuka. Patient asleep at the wheel. Use the recon sweep and then the 155mm base. Nice play there by Unknown Legend. But there goes all his munitions. So remember, this is some of the best artillery in the game. Arrives quite quickly and does cause engine crits as well. Making it a lot harder for vehicles to move out of the range once they've been hit by it. So we've got double anti-tank guns here, which I don't think is really necessary. Facing only against 1 Lukes. Should be able to make do, and he gets a Stern Pioneer squad. Mortar shell and a bit of rifle fire follow up. You're this close to the mortar, man. It's just always going to hit. And now that's a Rifleman with a Panzer Shrek. That's a bit of a problem. Quite a lot of anti-tank. Still, Patient has had very good fuel control. Unknown Legend has had a lot of trouble pushing back out. Many times this game. This guy's major and he's very close to a Sherman now, and this is perhaps where Patient could come unstuck. I feel like the Stuka was probably very hard It's very hard to make Stuka work in 1v1s. We saw Barton do it against Shadowrider, but that was against Shadowrider who invested so much. He had like 3 Maxims or so, 2 anti-tank guns, very heavy support weapon play, and a very campy style where he used the half-track to reinforce them all. And even then, Barton only just squeaked through by a couple of VPs. So yeah, Stukas I feel often do not pay off in 1v1s. Probably should have invested that fuel into teching up, because now he's going to get his tech out. He's still going to be about 100 fuel away from a medium tank. Well, a bit more than that in fact. So this Sherman's going to do a lot of damage. That being said, he could just skip teching and go for a Command Panther. Also a very viable option. Doesn't look like that's what he's going to do, but probably would be advisable if he put down his healing. He instead of going for this, if he went for his healing and went straight for the Command Panther, probably would have been a bit better build order. Here comes the Sherman. He's going to probably knock out the Lukes at some stage. Don't have, we've only got 1 Raketin as well. Probably going to need another Raketin. Tier 4 going down, trying to cover this region, so that's okay. 2 anti-tank guns on the field and a Sherman. He could actually make a nice push against that. Another recon sweep by Unknown Legend. And I believe this is the high altitude sweep, so it actually can't be shot down. But obviously it's only a brief passing sweep, so it doesn't give you that much sight. Only like a brief window of sight. But things starting to stabilise now for Unknown Legion after the Sherman hits the field. Let's do the famous army zoom on this tank.
Looks like we're getting into the excitement.
Ooh. Ooh. So I believe you have to spend $10 at the Humble Bundle to get this one, which I'm thinking about doing because I've played the Ardennes, but I played it during the free weekend and clocked it during the free weekend. So don't really need it for the Ardennes, but there are also those mission bundles, those single player Theatre of War, which I haven't played. And the Company Affairs 1, which I also haven't. Well, I did play a little bit back when it was released, but I don't think I ever completed the campaign. Oh man. Could this be the end of the Panzer II? No, he retreats! Oh man, if he just stuck around there, one more Panzerschreck would have done the job there. He could have retreated quite easily. He might have been on 1 or 2 men, but would have been worth. And very aggressive play here, going onto the cutoff with the machine gun. Probably not going to work out too well against double mortars, and now I bet you he wishes he still had a Stuka against this many team weapons, double anti-tank gun, double mortar. When you're facing off against double mortar, you kind of have to think, how am I going to capture one of these mortars, because it's pretty much the only way to counter it. Here's the double anti-tank gun push onto the tech structure. Looks like he's using attack ground at the moment, but here comes a Sherman, should be able to provide sight, tank the shots, add a little bit of extra damage as well, and there goes the tech up. That's why I often say putting your tech structure down in like even a defensive position is often not even worthwhile. Like, just put it like right beside your base, maybe covering this. Because losing it is just so punishing, man. 120 fuel. There's almost no way to come back from it. Looks somehow forcing a lot of retreats there onto those anti-tank guns. Still alive, still kicking it. He's got the repairs as well, so he can just back away. He's going for another Stuka, realizing that his hopes of getting a tank from his tech now dashed. But as I said, needs more Raketans, and there he goes, he's getting one now. It's a Sherman. No Legion close to the fuel for another Sherman, so I imagine that's where he's going to go for again. Two Shermans should be able to put the herd down, but remember he's still quite far behind on VP, so Patient does have a bit of time to accumulate some more fuel, maybe make his way towards the tank. As I was saying, still has the option of going for the Command Panther. As for the base, and he said target down. Got 2 kills. I don't think he got any wipes. Oh, Kugel's about to go down to the M1. Oh no, he misses. Kugel, very small target size, so those max range shots have a very high chance of missing. And honestly, I'm stunned. The 26 minutes into this game, he still has both those Kugels. That one that got abandoned down here, obviously he recruited at some stage. Stole it back. And pretty impressive Kugel preservation by Patient. And these Fox Units remain extremely relevant now at Vet 5. And only now we're starting to see some weapon upgrades from Unknown Legend. So that's why those Fox Units have been doing so well. Quite late upgrades from Unknown Legion, but he did spend his munitions quite wisely. Taking down that Stuka was very worthwhile, though very expensive. 240 munitions for that combo. Kind of reminds me of the old days of Stukless Esport, where you do those recon planes and then call them the anti-tank strafe. Similar strategy here. Oh my god, man, that mortar just does not miss, does it? Kissins. Oh, get the kill on the Sherman! Wow! I was certain that they were going to miss. But there you go, Sherman down right as the second one was about to hit the field. I feel like before, I mean, yeah, if you know you're up against double Raketans, before you get 2 Shermans, you probably should be a bit more cautious. Once you have 2 Shermans, you know, you can play a lot more daringly. Flank and take out the Raketans, but before that stage, you do have to be a bit more cautious. And Patient somehow sticking in there. Here comes another Stuka barrage. He clears out the M1, but also gets a bit of friendly fire there. Yeah, friendly's killed 3. Walking Stuka does have some of the highest friendly damage of all the artillery strikes. I think it does like over half, whereas most others, like if you walk through a Calliope barrage, for example, it does almost nothing as a friendly fire, but the Walking Stuka does quite a lot, and so does the Panzerwerfer. Which is another reason why the Calliope perhaps a bit too strong. That friendly fire damage modifier. Looks like he's finally about to get healing, and he's going for fortifications, which I think is a bad idea, because there's no way he's going to be able to get a pack or a LFH up against the 155mm artillery. Well, he can get it up, but it'll die immediately. It's not like when you're up against the Pershing where Pak 43 can make sense because Commander has no artillery, and a lot of people skip the major, so they don't have access to the major artillery either. And the Pak 43 very powerful against Pershing. A lot of munitions though, and should be able to spam some of those S-mines, which is the true strength of fortifications, using S-mines on your Fox Grenadiers. Here comes another recon sweep. I believe the major recon sweep is a bit cheaper though. Yeah, I'll probably be using this one at the moment instead, but you do have to position your major, I suppose, so it's slightly less convenient, but it is cheaper. And yeah, is it Vet 1 it gets the improved? Yeah, improved recon flight. Is that the one that adds 2 planes as well, Vet 1? I don't know. But at some stage of veterancy you get 2 planes as well, so you get slightly more sight. Major recon flights. Could this be the end of the Fox? No, he reacts in time. Sticker should be about. Yep, there it goes, ready to rumble. Oh, this could be a nasty one. Late reaction. Destroys one of the mortars. It's quite a bit of damage onto the Sherman, and we missed. The Luke's going down to the M1. Now it looks like Unknown Legion about to set up shop onto this cutoff. This could be trouble for Patient. Got quite a lot of fuel in the bank, but obviously doesn't have much to spend it on right now. That's where, as OKW, this is why they're in such a troubled spot, because you lose your tech. If you don't play a doctrine with a Corlin tank like the Command Panther or the Flak Panzer, you stand no chance of getting out any meaningful armor. Try and tech up again is obviously extremely expensive. You can do it now, but then it'd still be 150 fuel away from another tank. And you have to think about the cost of the OKW truck and like its efficacy compared to, say, the Bofors. Bofors costing, what is it, 30 fuel? Very hard to kill. OKW tech truck, I believe, 130 fuel or so. And, easier to kill in my opinion. Perhaps the cost of rebuilding your truck should be more similar to the Bofors. Maybe, more expensive but more similar.
A capture point is under attack.
And then, have the teching part of things less related to the actual truck itself.
Our supply line just got cut off.
Oh, he's going for an ISG. He's got a lot of manpower here. He's pretty much up against the ropes as we see Unknown Legion taking control of just about the entire map. Still behind on VPs, but that's about to change with the triple cap going blazing through those VPs. And he's building a Jackson. I probably would have just gone for another Sherman. Just remember, he's playing mechanized, could always withdraw and refit the Sherman if he needs a Jackson later on. The Jackson's not going to be any use at all in this engagement. There's another Sherman. Even 2 Sherman's pretty useful against stuff like a Panther. If she's worried about a King Tiger, and that's probably what Patient is saving for. with this current map control situation, not going to be happening anytime soon. But here come the double Raketans. Very risky trying to repair. Main gun destroyed. That's the end of the Sherman. Just repairing out there in the middle of nowhere. Looks like he lost a squad whilst that was going on, one of his Vet 5 Volkswagen squads. But yeah, that was just so risky, man. Trying to do a forward repair on your Sherman when you're facing up against cloaked Raketans. Not recommended. Oh, but now the mortar's coming in for some base barrages. Oh no, he's only got one. That's it. Right, the other one got destroyed, but he's got pack houses sitting back here as well. This could be brought up. People are going to do some harassing down the left-hand side. More recon coming in for Unknown Legend. But can Passion hang on until he gets the King Tiger? It's just such slow fuel income for him at the moment. Seems unlikely. VPs are draining so fast as well. He's making a dive to try and connect this left-hand fuel. Jackson should probably rotate, try and take out that Kubel. He's going for a Stewart. Is that Stewart or Scott? Looks like a Stewart. Yeah, it's a Stewart. Okay. Well, as they're saying, still Vet 1 stun rounds can be very useful when facing up against King Tiger. You stun in a place for your Jackson and anti-tank guns to shoot it. Can be very useful. Targeting the mortar again, decruise it. There's the Vet 2 one as well. And Stewart's being dispatched to try and take care of this Kubel. Should be the end. It's not on prioritized vehicles though. Could take a Panzerfaust and it is going to. Will the Stewart be able to get away?
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Oh, he misses the killing blow. Kubel lives to fight another day. 37-minute Kubel. How about that? You see some players, once you get past the maybe 10 or so minute mark with their Kubels, they actually don't send them out to cap anymore. Use the Vet 1 infantry awareness ability, which is pretty handy. I know Jezelin, for example, does that quite often. Somehow Patient manages to neutralize this cutoff. Another recon sweep coming in for Unknown Legend. Patient still got that fuel connected. If Unknown Legend knew how important it was to have that fuel disconnected, maybe adopting a different strategy here. He's going for the VPs. He's got a lot of men just kind of standing around, trying to hold the line. He needs them over here to try and stop this, stop that fuel income, because I think Patient is maybe going to make it to a King Tiger. The replacements creeping forwards. Where are all these riflemen, man? Okay, coming out of base now. Pushing back these Raketans. The mortar gets stolen though. Used to focus it. Switch targets to this one. No. Manages to clear one of the Raketans, which is alright. Should probably try and kill it now with his M1. Stop it from being recruited. And there goes that rear echelon squad and the garrison.
They got wiped out.
Unknown Legion having a bit of trouble microing all his stuff here, it looks like. Now he is trying to kill that Raketan with the bazooka though, which is having a bit of trouble at max range, not the best accuracy. I believe it has similar accuracy to the Panzerschreck, perhaps even slightly better. After some slightly more recent balance changes. And by slightly more recent, I mean one of the more recent patches. Obviously, that was probably quite a few months ago now.
Rear echelon
Perhaps
squad
even
ready
close
for
to a
action.
year ago. Okay, we have some kind of artillery coming in. Yes. Rapid barrage from the Major, which is Vet 2. That's when it gains the extra shells. Patient somehow managing to stop the clock. It's getting so close to his King Tiger now. Can he do it? I feel like if he keeps trying to go down the left-hand side, that's where he's going to have the most success.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
And there's the Sherman. I think, honestly, if I was Unknown Legend and I had this Jackson, I probably would have just decrewed it and left it in base or something. So it wasn't taking up, wasn't taking up pop cap and wasn't taxing my manpower, because obviously it's not much for it to shoot at right now. Or perhaps get a bit risky with it. Use one of those recon sweeps and then try dive in from one of the flanks, try to take out the walking Stuka with it. Gotta be careful about those base flaks, but it might be worthwhile. He's lost his M1 though. Oh, but down go the stern pioneers, jumping into that super low health garrison. Super risky. Here comes the Stuart, trying to clean up. Oh, down go the last squad of Vet 5 Vox. He just made a fresh one, but that's gonna hurt. Vet 0 Fox stand very little chance against Vet 3 rifles with bars. Does he have a bar on that squad with the Shrek? Doesn't look like it. Looks like that ended up destroying the M1. Not sure if that got any more kills though. Got quite a lot of veterancy on it though. Probably from firing at that Sherman. Did quite a lot of health damage to Sherman, which gets a lot of veterancy. Oh my god, man. Raketten's missing, keeping that Stuart alive. Can it lift to safety? Down goes the Kubel. 42 minutes into the game. And there go both the Rakettens, in fact. Both of them get decrewed. Patient has floated so much manpower. He says Spencer of it now. Probably get another squad of Hawk Grenadiers. That squad running off the field was the one that crewed one of the Rakettens. It's not actual Hawk Grenadier squad. So yeah, maybe get another squad of Hawks, or maybe another squad of Sturms, because once he gets that King Tiger, he's going to need to repair it. If your entire army hinges on that one unit, probably a good idea to be able to repair it quickly. And here comes the King Tiger. Yes, he would have had enough manpower to go for some Sturms before that King Tiger hit the field. Would have been better if he had done that. And he instantly loses the Raketten. But here comes the KT. And remember that M1 did get destroyed. It's a good hit off onto the Sherman. Will he be able to get the killing blow? No. It's so low in health, anything will kill it. Because remember, it requires 3 men to carry it. So if he loses one more model, that is dead.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Jackson trying to kite back.
P-47 refueled and standing by.
Bouncing a few shots. Here comes the Raketten. Oh, we got sink area detected. And playback's over. Okay, well, I don't think Patient could have won anyway. I mean, with another Jackson on the way, Sherman, 2 Jacksons, M1, as well with the Shrek. There's no way he's going to come back there. What went wrong? I think, yeah, putting your tech structure somewhere risky is just, especially when your opponent already has 2 anti-tank guns on the field. Just don't do it. Put it in a very defensive spot, if even. Maybe just put it in your base, because losing is so punishing, especially if you're not using a doctrine with the Coleman tanks. And yeah, I think that's ultimately what cost him. He just spent so much on light vehicles, never really got out of the tank. It's cost him during the mid to late game. Anyway guys, I'll wrap on that. If you like your game to be cast by me, details are in the video description below. Otherwise I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.